I desire to move from where I live. I've had this desire for 20 years, and I am proof that you can have a desire and have an intention and not actually move. What do I do? This is Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. I am your host, and I wanted to make a very short, succinct video as to how to explain this very, very succinctly. Right? You have a desire. That's it. End of story. Nothing else to it. A desire means that this experience of your life fundamentally exists concurrently with yourself right now. With whatever you are experiencing as your physical frame of reality, it exists right now. If it's in your awareness, it is in your imagination, it is in your knowing that this is existing. It's part of you. It's already one with you. It's already what your intention is set as. Now, here's the difference. Sometimes we have these like what we refer to as fleeting desires. Now, I don't like the term fleeting desire because I think that means the desire of itself is otherworldly and unattainable and wishful thinking. I disagree with that. I actually believe that those what we refer to as fleeting desires are just desires of what those things are in the moment. You know, you like to play with those ideas in your mind, not necessarily embody them, but they're fun to actually experience, and you experience them in the moment. Like I like Abraham Hicks's story about you can manifest a button in a castle, right? Now, there are some people who want to live in a castle, truly, but I think most people don't necessarily have that desire of living in a castle. But it's fun to experience the idea of living in a castle. Now, that's not a fleeting desire, right? It's literally experiencing the desire in the moment. Oh, it's fun to live in a castle, and you feel that little jolt, right? That's what that desire is. You experience that desire in that moment. You experienced what you wanted to experience from that desire in that moment. Living in an apartment or living in a big house somewhere else, that's not necessarily a in the moment feeling desire. That is a change of your life. That is a change of your life experience, right? They might be exactly the same to source because source doesn't see time and doesn't see the difference in all those things, right? Because you are source. So when you desire to live in another house, another place, another country, whatever it is, realize this. You don't have a past that existed 20 years ago. You have a perception of what you are considering existed 20 years ago. And I'll show this to you, right? This is this is typically how we perceive reality. We have this block of reality that's within our awareness, right? Whatever we're seeing around, and then we are inside this block as well, and we are interacting with other people, our family, friends, whatever, right? We perceive that we have this future that we don't ever really get to. You know, we have ideas about what we're going to do tomorrow, but most of the time they don't really pan out that way, or you end up doing them in a completely different way than you imagined, right? That's not necessarily that doesn't necessarily mean what you're imagining isn't real or an actual experience of reality. It's just that you don't necessarily have the intention of having lunch specifically at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So sometimes you may have a late one or an early one. You don't really know what's going to happen, right? And you think you have this past that you came from 20 years in this case. That's not true. That doesn't exist. It's just frames of reality that you strung through. Here's what you actually are. You are the awareness in which it is all happening, right? You are I am awareness. Now over here, let's just put our imagination, right? Here's our imagination. We think that these two things are actually separate for some reason, or we've been led to believe that, you know, society that we live in fundamentally increases our belief in the separate, in all of this stuff being separate. It's supposed to, because when you realize true separation can only come from true oneness, right? You realize this is all just one. So when you imagine yourself as you'd like to be in your new house, wherever that may be, however that may look, it just exists, plain and simple. It just exists. Now you have to understand is that this is happening inside here, that is happening inside here. They're all happening within your I am awareness. So when you completely identify with that, with being awareness, so whatsoever I am aware of is literally a reality, a frame, a potentially alive experience for me right now, and I choose to embody that version of myself who not only walks into that house, but I walk out of that house because it is where I live already. You have to understand is that all realities are available to you right now because your I am awareness is doing nothing more than stringing frames of these together for infinity, over and over and over and over and over again and again and again and again. That's all it's doing. So whatsoever your self-concept is, if I am God, and believe me, that is God, because everything is inside that idea, everything is inside that consciousness, everything is inside that awareness. It is God, it is source, it is reality itself, because reality isn't one of these, it's all of them in combination. And you can get to each and every one from each and every other one, right? The ordering doesn't even matter. You can reorder it any way you like, but understand you don't have any power in the physically focused unfolding of said thing. You have all the power in the world here. All the power in the world is absolutely yours. There's not a single thing you can't do in your imagination, not one. Some people will be like, oh no, but you can't imagine a different color or some nonsense like that. That's not the point. You wouldn't even know you imagined a different color if you did. That's the best part. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't know you didn't know this. How would you not know? How would you know you didn't know it if you know it, right? If you know something, that means you knew it. Anyway, all of this stuff's happening inside here. So when you tell the story, when you tell that story that I am having the desire for 20 years, it's not 20 years. You've just been recreating it for what you have experienced and are calling 20 years. When you say that I'm still trapped and I am proof that I am the person that can have an intention and have a desire and not move, you are the one that's creating that in the moment where you're saying I haven't moved, I still live here, I'm still trapped. When you let all those thoughts go, when you let your past go, when you let the future go, when you let everything else go and say I am awareness, whatsoever I am aware of is literally my reality right now. That's it, end of story. You have shifted, that's it, and reality is going to rearrange it, because reality is not apart from you. Your physical self is one with the movie of your life, but your awareness is the creator of the movie. But it's only creating the movie you as awareness say, and you say by imagining it consciously. So what are you going to imagine consciously? I am in my new house. I walk out of my new house. I don't just walk into my new house. I'm walking out of my new house, in my new life, in my new identity right now. And reality is rearranging to make that an absolute physical experience of my life right now, because you are that. Anyway, thank you all for being here. This is Reese. I am Reese. Infinite love, infinite light, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. Oh, there was another thing. Just to segue it. Somebody asked me in a YouTube comment, does it matter if you are in the state of wish fulfilled, as in the state of love, or do you have to be in a state of love and then imagine what you desire? And I said, I don't think that there's a difference between those two things, right? A state of love, state of wish fulfilled, God state, knowing, awareness, I am awareness, whatever, it's all just love. You know what your desires are. You know what your desires are, and Source knows what your desires are. Source knows desires you don't even have yet, consciously. So when you are in the state of love, you have all of it, and that's what the state of love is. The state of love is knowing that you have all of it, so it's all perfect. Just throwing that out there. So when you are in a state of love, when you are loving yourself in that new house, you are in it. You are literally in your house. If you fall asleep in that new house, in your imagination, in your awareness, you literally experienced yourself falling asleep in that new house. So fall asleep in your new house and wake up in that new life. That's all.